Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's get into what's going on today. Today in the markets was kind of mixed. We were going to take a look at S&P, Dow Jones, NASDAQ. They were kind of mixed a little bit. Bitcoin and Ethereum were both down today. Miners were kind of all over the place today. So we'll take a look at what's going on there. And then we'll also take a look at some stories that we do have. Soluna set to energize Dorothy. Marathon pays off $15 million worth of debt, which is great. Terawulf is going to provide us with production updates for February along with Core Scientific. Terawulf had a really good month here. They grew quite nicely. Core Scientific actually went down in hash rate, so we'll see what's going on there. And we'll call it a day. Pretty easy day today. And as always, you guys know the drill here. Non-financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And let's get into what's going on here in the markets. The S&P was up today 0.14%. Dow Jones was down 0.18%, and the NASDAQ was up 0.52%. However, Bitcoin was actually down worse today than it was yesterday. So that's kind of funny. I thought yesterday we were going to be down a heck of a lot more than we were. It did rebound a little bit yesterday, but today we are down 2.25% to 21,698. Ethereum is also down a little bit today as well, but right now Bitcoin is trying to hug or at least trying to get back to the 200-day moving average here, which is the blue line right here. And what might happen is we might be hugging that line like we did with the 50-day moving average, which is our light blue line here, the teal line, for a couple of days. We'll see how that's going to play out unless it just continues to fall. If we do fall, we're probably going to be falling down to our next support line, which is at 21,300 roughly, right around there. Okay, so that's Bitcoin right now. We'll see where it lands up. But Ethereum also, we'll take a look at that one really quick. That one was down today as well. It was down 1.89% currently. It closed at 1,532. And that one is also below the 200 daily moving average, which is the blue line here. If we look at the 1 hour chart, we'll be able to see it a little bit better here. So there's that line. Right there, we are below it. We did kind of bounce off of it here a little bit, but we fell below it again. So it's kind of following suit as Bitcoin is. We'll see where it ends up at. I'm not sure where this one's going to end up before things start to reverse a little bit. I don't see any really support here, possibly maybe right around this range, 1,460 or so. We did bounce off of that line, so we may bounce on that one as well. Okay, now as far as the miners are concerned, let's go to the daily chart. We'll get rid of this really quick. Here we go. Any was down today 7.19% on the day, which wasn't that good of a day for them at 31 cents. Argo was down 5.59% to $1.52. Bit Digital was down was up 1.72% to $1.18. Bitfarms was down 1.23% to 82 cents. Cypher was up 0.67% to $1.50. CleanSpark was flat on the day at $2.38. Cores was down 0.02% to 30 cents. DigiHost was up 0.8% to $1.26. DMG was down 2.05% to 20 cents. Greenidge was down 8.1% to 44 cents. Hive was up 1.92% to $2.66. Hut 8 was down 1.99% to $1.48. Iris Energy was down 7.64% to $2.54. Marathon was up 1.48% to $6.18. Mawson was down 1.45% to $2.39. Riot was up 2.11% to $6.30. Soluna was up 10.22% to 35 cents. And Terawulf was down 0.96% to 67 cents. I'm a little surprised that Terawulf was down, given that they have grown quite nicely here in the month of February. And they had a pretty good report for that. We'll take a look at it here shortly. But that's it for the miners. Like I said, they were kind of mixed a little bit today. Let's take a look at the network hash rate, see where that's ending up at right now. And we're still at, right now, 323 million terahashes per second on the 7-day average. If we look at the 1 day, we can see here that it is still at the same spot. So that hasn't changed over yet to the new data yet. So we have the same data as we did yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at the news that we do have, and then we'll get into the production updates as well. So Soluna is set to energize Texas project and executes power purchase agreement. They've been waiting on this for quite a while, so this is actually good news for them. So Soluna announced today that it has signed a definitive agreements with key project and regulatory parties for its Texas-based Project Dorothy. These milestones agreements allow the project to complete its substation interconnect by March 24th. Final testing on all power infrastructure will commence, and assuming ERCOT final approval, Dorothy 1A is expected to be energized the first week in April. So that's great news there. We know that ERCOT can take some time a little bit. We'll see if it actually plays out this way where it gets done by April, or at least the first week in April. And then the definitive agreements revolve around a power purchase agreement, PPA, focusing on solving the wind farm's wasted energy issue, also known as curtailment. The agreements also have a mechanism for Soluna's modular data centers to be a resource for the grid or an ancillary service when it is strained. So if they need a lot of power, they basically shut down, like some of the other miners that are doing in Texas. Some are doing it also in Canada and other places as well. So they're working with the grid, which is good. So I think this is great news for Soluna. This hopefully will kind of get them going again. And maybe they'll start providing their monthly production updates. We'll see. If they do, then we'll start covering them even more with their production updates and things like that. But right now, they are in the doghouse for me. They got to have their monthly production updates released. Okay, so that's Soluna right there. Let's take a look at Marathon really quick. Marathon had a good update as well. Marathon Digital Holdings prepays term loan in whole and terminates credit facilities. And this is actually with Silvergate Bank. So that was good. So Marathon has repaid its term loan and terminated its credit facilities with Silvergate Bank, reducing Marathon's debt by $15 million and increasing the company's unrestricted Bitcoin holdings by 3,132 Bitcoin. So they did have those Bitcoins basically encumbered by that loan amount. So that's good that they got those back. And in early February 2023, Marathon provided Silvergate Bank with the required 30-day notice stating that the company's intent to prepay the outstanding balance on its term loan facility, as well as the company's intent to terminate the term loan facility, which is great. The company and Silvergate Bank subsequently agreed to also terminate the revolving line of credit facility, which had no borrowings outstanding on the date of termination. On March 8th, 2023, the term loan prepayment was completed and the company's facilities with Silvergate Bank were terminated. So great news there. And then as a result, Marathon has reduced its debt by $50 million and has increased its unrestricted Bitcoin holdings by 3,132 Bitcoins, as that Bitcoin was being held as collateral by a third-party custodian were returned to the company, which is good. And they're also saving like $5 million. Where did I see it here? Here it is. And reduced our annual cash interest costs and facility fees by approximately $5 million. Well, $5 million is no, change or anything like that. So that's really good. That could be going towards other things. So I'm really happy for this. And this is great news for them. I'm guessing they probably used cash to pay this off. Unless, I don't think they sold any Bitcoins in February, so I doubt it was from that. Or they did sell some, but didn't sell. Let's take a look at Marathon really quick. Did they sell anything? I can't remember now. I just have too many things going on here. Marathon, let's see, did they sell anything? It does look like they sold 709 Bitcoin in February for about 16 million or so. So that was maybe used partially to pay that off, okay? Next, let's take a look at the actual production updates for Terawulf first, and we'll get into Core Scientific second. So Terawulf announces February 2023 production and operation updates. And here are the highlights of it. So commenced mining at the Nautilus crypto mine facility, the first Bitcoin mining facility powered by 100% nuclear power in the United States, exiting the month with approximately 8,000 miners energized. So that's a lot. If they're 8,000, that's about 800 petahash, I think, at 100 terahash. They also achieved an average operating hash rate of 2.0 exahash for the month, exiting February with 2.6 exahash of self-mining capacity following the energization and ramp of self-mining at the Nautilus facility, which represents an 82% month-over-month increase in self-mining hash rate compared to January. So that is great there. And then self-mined 143 Bitcoin in February with an average production rate of 5 Bitcoin per day. So the energization must have happened toward the very end or very close to the end of the month, because otherwise they would have mined a heck of a lot more Bitcoin. And then cost of power in February averaged 7.9 Bitcoin per Bitcoin, 7.9 thousand per Bitcoin produced, or approximately 0.038 kilowatts cents per kilowatt hour, which is in line with the company's targeted power cost of 3.5 cents per kilowatt hour across its two mining sites. And then construction continued at the Lake Mariner facility, where an additional 50 megawatts of self-mining capacity is expected to come online in early Q2 2023. So a lot of good news from Terawulf here lately. They're doing all the right things, I think, to get themselves on the right footing. Now let's take a look at what we do have for them as far as my spreadsheet is concerned with all the numbers. Then we'll get into Core Scientific. So Terawulf, shares outstanding is 176 million right now. Stock price is about 67 cents. They were beaten down quite nicely from a couple of weeks ago when they reported that they are going to be diluting shares to get capital out. And they've been hovering kind of around 60 cents here for a while. Their current hash rate, I have it at 2.6 exahash. Their future hash rate is going to be about 5.5, I believe, 5.3. So they're about 48% installed right now with 106% hash rate growth left in them. HODL, they pretty much sell everything that they mine. They don't report on HODL, so we don't have any value there. Their production, you can see here, has been kind of sporadic here through the last couple months, or at least the last 5 months. You can see in October they were 119, November was 134, December 125, January 157, and now February 143. February was a shorter month, so that's expected there. Their Bitcoins per exahash, efficiency-wise, has come down here. They were about, these are estimated numbers here. I'm not sure on July, August, and September. October, November, and on forward, I believe, are more accurate based on because they started reporting their production updates for those months. So the best month they had here was in January, potentially at 108 Bitcoins per exahash. And then February, they installed a lot of miners. So that's always going to knock them down as far as efficiency is concerned because they're reporting 2.6 exahash. That's what I'm using for the end of the month. And then what they mined, and this is kind of what we're getting the efficiency rating on them for that. Okay, looking at their production here, 143 Bitcoins were mined. That equates to about 3.3 million in revenue. That is a little bit less than in January, but it's a shorter month, so that's expected there. The miners that we did install in February here were these 11,480 total of these 100 terahash miners. That got us to the total 2.6 exahash that they reported at the end of the month. And you can see here that I had them mining for basically 4 days in order to get to the 3.3 million in revenue that would equate to for that month. Everything else was running for 28 days, which is great. And then we'll see if they can actually mine. Well, March is going to be 31 days, but we'll see if they can mine for that amount right now. I have them at 28 days right now. We'll see if that plays out. So they're looking at about 5 million in revenue if things just stay where they are with Bitcoin, network hash rate, everything else. Okay, as far as institutions are concerned, we do have a little bit of a decrease in institutions. It's now at 89 from 92, but shares increased nicely here to 12.3 million from 8.9, so that's good. Percentage owned also increased to 7% from 5.27. As far as analysts' ratings, buy ratings are concerned, we still have only one analyst rating them with a 1 buy. And then the price target went down a little bit here to $2 from $5 for the high, average, and low. And, well, that's based on the network hash rate increasing and potentially what they are going to be mining here in the future here. So I can see why that's come down a little bit here. But that's kind of in line with what I have them at right now, I think. So if we look at my numbers here, you can see here that we are currently using the last 3-quarter numbers, which are the June numbers, and the September numbers are, I believe, actual numbers. And then December are estimates of what I have them potentially earning. And then we're using the current month or the current quarter that we're in, which is 11.5 million. And that's an estimate also. That will change before it's all said and done. But currently we got them at about 23 million in revenue so far. And if we use the 50% net income from gross revenue and the PE of 20, we can see that they are at about $1.34. If we use the 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at $2.01. That's kind of what the analysts are looking at. And that's kind of what I'm seeing right now as well for them. Given that the stock price right now is at 67 cents, I do think that they are way undervalued, as are most miners right now. Okay, with all that being said, they have done a fantastic job this month in February getting stuff installed, getting stuff energized. And hopefully they can continue this going forward. This is what we need to see as investors. I'm not investing in them currently. I'm investing in other companies, but this is one of the things I would look for is continued growth going forward into this year, especially as the miners are pretty inexpensive right now. So with that being said, great job getting that stuff energized, getting finally the ball rolling here. And we just need to see it going forward. Okay, so that's it for Terawulf. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are invested in them or not, if you're thinking about investing in them, let me know. I'd love to hear. Okay, so next, let's take a look at Core Scientific. Core Scientific didn't provide too much data here. They provided just enough data to get us with the numbers that we needed. So Core Scientific self-mining operations produced 1,362 Bitcoin in February. As of month end, the company operated approximately 161,000 Bitcoin miners, accounting for approximately 76% of its total number of miners and representing a total potential self-mining hash rate of 16.7 exahash. So that's kind of what we have them at right now. They talk about co-location, grid support, and that was it, basically. They did some curtailments here, but not much. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them, and we'll call it a day. Core Scientific, okay. So Core Scientific has 368 million shares outstanding right now. Stock price is at 31 cents. Their current hash rate is 16.7 exahash. Future is supposed to be about 17.2, so they're about 500 petahash away from that. They have a little bit of growth left in them as it is. We can see here that their production has been growing nicely here ever since September, and it's been growing steadily as well. That was good to see. But as they become more fully installed, I expect that number to start going down, especially as the Bitcoin network hash rate increases. Their production is going to start coming down as well, but they still have a little bit of petahash left to install potentially. And we can see here that also their efficiency, Bitcoins per exahash, has been coming down as well. As you can see that, which is okay. They've kind of averaged here around 90, between 80 and 90, but it's been coming down here ever since April of last year. BTC HODL, they don't HODL anything. They've sold everything that they've mined. They sold a lot during the summertime to stay afloat. And with them mining 1,362 Bitcoin, that equated to about $31 million in revenue. So a lot of revenue is being generated here for those guys. So hopefully that helps them out, get out of this bankruptcy that they're in and pay off some of their debts and creditors and things like that going forward. With that being said here, let's see, they are down about 165 Bitcoins per February compared to January. And if you, they're mining about 40 Bitcoin a day, 40 something, almost 50 at some points. So that is pretty close to where they should be, down a little bit in general. Now in February, I had to take out a couple of the miners to get them down to the 16.7. They were originally at 17 exahash reported in January. I wonder what happened there as far as why they are down a little bit here. But we took out these 3,130 Bitcoin miners at 100 terahash for the month, and then they were operating about 25 and 3/4 of a day roughly on the rest of the miners here. That got us to the 31.7 million that they basically made in that month. Okay, so there's that. Institution-wise, institutions decreased quite a bit here. So 115 is what they have now. They were at 185 the prior month when we did this. Shares is also down to 46 million shares compared to 100 million shares. And percentage owned went down to 12.36% from 2.6%. So that's not good. Their institutions are selling out of them. That's kind of worrisome a little bit. And then as far as analyst ratings, we still have 4 hold ratings on the stock price, and the stock price that they have targets for is the high is 50 cents, the average is 38 cents, the low is 25 cents. Now, given where they are right now with the amount that they are generating, I have them at, with the current quarter being at 91 million roughly, if Bitcoin stays where it's at, Hashrate stays where it's at. And the last 3 quarters, we have them, well, 2 of the quarters are actual numbers, 109 million, 80 million, and then the 4th quarter, December ending quarter, is at 73 million. That's an estimate. We're looking at a combined total of $355 million in revenue. They generate a lot of cash. Based on that, 50% net income of revenue, we're looking at, with a PE of 20, $9.65 for the stock price if they can get out of this bankruptcy. 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at $14.48 based on just the revenue alone. Now, the revenue is going to be coming down unless Bitcoin goes up higher than the network hash rate increases. So we'll have to monitor that, see how that's going to play out going forward. Given that they are mining, let's just say that they are mining right now, let's just say by the time the halving event comes around and they're mining 1,000 Bitcoin per day or per month, and Bitcoin goes up to 100, 150,000, that's going to mean a lot of revenue for them, okay? But it is going to be a little bit turbulent time from now until we get to the halving, past the halving, until Bitcoin gets to those points. So we're still looking out at least a good year and a half before that happens, okay? So with that being said, I mean, there's not much else they can do. They have a little bit of growth left in them, about 500 petahash, not much. I don't know how else they're going to be able to grow, being that they are in bankruptcy right now. I doubt that they're going to be able to build out, get more facilities or anything else to grow even more. The only thing that they can do is eventually kick out the hosting partners, get those out of there and buy their own miners and put those miners instead. Hosting is not as profitable of a business as self-mining is. So we'll leave it at that. So that's kind of what they got to do. They just need to keep going forward. I don't know how they're going to do it, but something that they have to definitely look into once they get past this bankruptcy thing. Okay, so that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. The spreadsheet is, as always, available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.